living without trusting someone is not a way to live. Like I give a certain type of trust now. I know how to like give people trust, but like enough rope to hang themselves, right? Um I don't I think it's I think it's imperative to give a little, like just have that social life. You got to give people a little bit to hold on to, right? We can't just like completely close off, and sometimes you have some type of vulnerability, but don't be a fool. Obviously don't move around foolishly, or don't let nobody fool you.
I most definitely keep myself looking good and keep it slanging too.
Nope, I'm dad bod times 1,000. I don't give a
Nah,
shit.
go ahead, Trigger Mike.
I don't
That's
know
my
what y'all said.
that's my
I was like,
that's
don't
my
leave me, because I'll have another one. It don't do nothing. I don't know what y'all trying to say. It don't mean nothing. My resources will
All
get
right,
me another woman.
you keep thinking that today.
It's not a thought. I'm just being honest. Culturally, the bigger you are means the more money you got in my
Look,
culture.
I wish I
So
could believe that. I wish
yeah,
I could believe
but
all. I
we
wish I could
don't need
believe
to
only
harp
my
on that.
resources was
I
the
agree. No,
only.
I agree to an extent, because even without it being a sign of resources, it's unhealthy, and you need to show discipline and get yourself in shape. So that part I agree with. But if we go back to the trust thing, remember I said, yeah, no woman should blindly trust. That's actually very dangerous for women to do. Um, because you can't defend yourself and stuff like that. But I also believe, if we're going to give a solution, as far as trust goes, women need to be practical and reasonable with the way they trust. Um, that is something I believe happens with men and women as they mature. And who you give your trust to, you also, like I said, trust things in people that you see, that's actionable, right? My wife knows that if she gets a call from the daycare or the school that I didn't pick the child up in time, something's wrong. He would be there. He's not picking up the phone. Something is really critically wrong, because she can trust the action, the confidence, the reliability that I do what I say what I'm going to do. And I believe women need to be that practical and not make that dream version of trust. Whereas I trust him with all things, because that that house of cards will fall quick. He's going to do something to piss you off. He's going to do something within his nature that most men do, right? And I believe if you're more practical with how you trust, you're not easily, as hurt. I've noticed that kind of comes with time. When I talk to women in like their 40s and 50s, they are not, they have been through some stuff, especially a woman who's been divorced and has gone through some things. She's very, she has a bit more fortitude to her in that sense, because she's more practical.
I
Soliloquies been hurting us,
oh,
bro.
okay, to close off the trust thing, I personally, like growing up, my trust was broken many times. Like growing up in the, like I grew up in the hood, so like trusting someone and they come rob you, your own people who step over, they rob you the next day, all your stuff is gone. Yeah, like trust is gonna be tested, right? So, however, like my trust was gone, and living without trusting someone is not a way to live. Like I give a certain type of trust now. I know how to like give people trust, but like enough rope to hang themselves, right? Um, I don't. I think I think it's imperative to give a little, like just have that social life. You got to give people a little bit to hold on to, right? We can't just like completely close off, and sometimes you have some type of vulnerability, but don't be a fool. Obviously don't move around foolishly, or don't let nobody fool you. So I think that's my last little bit at the end of the segment.
I agree with what Mike said. I remember that's how I knew something was wrong with my father, because there was a time where I moved away and he would call me around the same time every single day. And he didn't call me. And I remember calling my mom and I was like, "Where's dad? He didn't call me today." She's like, "Oh, he was too busy." I'm like, no, he's never too busy to call me. What's wrong? I knew something was wrong. Found out a couple of hours later he had a stroke, but they didn't want to tell me. But I knew, like, I could set a watch to my father. And I always tell people that my father was someone I trust blindly, because he was proven to be trustworthy. And if someone came to me and said, "I saw your dad in the bathroom kissing some girl, I'd be like, you must be talking about the wrong man, because I knew his character and his morals. He would never do something like that. And to be able to trust someone that way, I think it takes time to prove that. But I also think it's hard for women because you're supposed to trust someone if you marry them. But at what point do they prove that they're different than every other guy? I think that's something that has to be proven out. You say don't let somebody just sell you a dream, but eventually you are supposed to trust the man that you marry. At what point do you know that he's for real?
You know, I had the
Yes, prove
same.
that over time.
It's funny. I had the same shit happen to me. The same shit happened to me, man. And somebody came and told me the same damn thing. Hey, look, I see your father over there. And he going over there down the street, over there messing with the old lady. And you know what I did? I looked at my mama and I saw that she was gaining all this weight and how bad she was treating him and wouldn't fucking cook when he came out. And I said, you're probably right.
Yeah. Well,
Damn, that's cold.
Oh.
You just sucked the air out of the room with that one, bro. I'm like, damn.
Not Sir Hale vanishing. Like, how did he do that? He has all these like cool little features. Like, he just vanished.
I'm sorry, I wasn't expecting Bruiser to take it there. I'm looking out sentimental, like, man, it's about to be deep. And then he said what he said. I would have expected that.
Bruiser's very superficial. It's expected to be surface level.
No, but Kelly, you said you trusted your father blindly. That's actually not blind trust. He developed that trust, over time. He showed you. That's what I'm saying. It was developmental to where you can actually swear by his actions and say, nope, those aren't the actions of my father, because throughout his life, he's shown me this is who he is. He's this consistent. Remember, the reasonable, dependable, consistent are all three characteristics that men should have to even qualify to talk to you, right? And the way to get around this for most women, because women will say now, how am I supposed to find this in a dating process? So that's a solution. You need to, this is why I say people shouldn't be getting married to people they do not know well. That vetting process shouldn't just be you. You need to meet families early. I met she's my wife now, but girlfriend's mom within 2 months. Let's go take the trip. I need to see where you come from. I need to know your values, everything about you, right? Because it takes time to know somebody in and out, So it's very important that you do that early in a relationship, and I think that's a solution for it. Reasonable, dependable, consistent. If a man doesn't have those three characteristics, don't mess with him, and damn sure don't give your body to him, because you're just asking for trouble.
I like that, Trigger Mike. Thank you.
All right.
Well
seems like
said.
Trigger Mike gonna suck there out the room too. So
You have
sucking
anything on that, Lapeef chair?
Huh?
I said, do you have anything to add? Closing remarks?
I'll tell you about it later.
Ooh.